Hello, I'm Tracy McCants-Lewis, Board Chair of the August Wilson African American Cultural Center. Welcome to AWC Community Day, the summer edition. We are happy to celebrate this Community Day with you, honoring our hometown heroes, exploring kids' activities for the summer, and much more. As we begin to gather around our friends and family again, we hope you can create more memories by exploring the activities and events we will share with you today. We thank UPMC and UPMC Health Plan for their support of AWC Community Day. On behalf of the team at the August Wilson African American Cultural Center, we wish you and your loved ones a healthy, happy summer season. And now, let's begin AWC Community Day, the summer edition. To support our work and learn more about what we do at the August Wilson African American Cultural Center, please visit our website at aacc-awc.org. We wish you peace, health, and happiness.
All right. So before stepping onto our mat, we always want to set our intentions. And the intention for this space is to find relaxation, to find restoration, but most importantly, to find your flow. So, welcome to yoga with the Flow Zone. I'll be your instructor today, Dr. Imani, and we'll start off with some breath. Earlier, we made sure we prepped the space so that our mat is sure to hold everything that we're going to leave on it. We take a step onto the mat, whichever foot feels good first, nice and grounded, bending in the knees. Deep inhale all the way up. And exhale, take a half bend. Hands are placed onto your calves, your shins. Be sure you place your shoulders back, neck is elongated. Deep inhale, come back up, using that core muscle. Smile at the top because we're glorious and magnificent to be breathing this breath every day. Exhale, nice and deep. And one more because 3 is just a good number. Deep inhale. Exhale down, halfway lift. Roll those shoulders up. Be sure to keep your knees nice and soft. And when we reset our shoulders, we're also resetting in a queen or king's posture. So we're making sure that our shoulders are back, that our chest is lifted, our chins are up. A smile on your face because joy is a part of the practice. One more deep inhale, baby back bend all the way back. Exhale, come forward. You're gonna take a step forward with your left leg first. We're gonna do the right leg, just settling into it. Be sure to give some space between your feet, shoulders width apart. So here, grounding into your biggest toe, so your grand toe. Be sure you're aligned all the way up. If you go up and you find field goal arms, that means you are aligned. Bring them all the way back down, and that is where your toes should be. So we'll take a step forward with our left leg, step back with your right. Very soft on both knees, arms will come all the way up. This is warrior 1. I'm balancing, keeping my hips nice and tight, keeping my core engaged, and of course we're breathing deeply. So inhale, those shoulders come up. Exhale, shoulders come down. I'm gonna flatten out my back foot, open up my hips, allow both arms to fall at the sides. This is what I call horizon or warrior 2. Really engage here, hold your arms nice and strong. Take a look at your front palm. Both palms are facing the sky, holding up the sun. Think about what it is that you're reaching for when you come forward. Take a look at your back arm. Think about what it is that you want to bring forth in the principle of Sankofa, of course. Now with the Flow Zone, we always mix in comedic yoga as well because that is our roots. So we'll bring up both arms. Power pose. Take a look behind you. Offer that backhand. Again, palms are up because we're holding up the sky and our ambitions. Bring that back up. Front. Bring that back up. Now, since my hips are already square, I'm gonna take this time to allow both arms to come down. Stretch backwards, reaching up towards the stars, and also being sure to reach down for grounding. Soften the knee. We're doing both, always. It's never either or, it's always and. Once you're here and grounded, a nice stretch, opening up the obliques here, making sure we're breathing nice and big. One more inhale. Exhale, bring that forward all the way. Switch that back leg onto the balls of your feet so that you are now in runner's lunge. You're gonna feel tempted to go all the way forward or to bring your leg back so that you're in a deep lunge. But just hold that restoration for a moment. Sometimes we do too much. Hold that back leg nice and strong. I'm engaging my quad, my hamstring, glutes, hips, core. And being sure that this knee is never over my front toes. Alignment is so important. And I'm softly on both of my hands. You're gonna straighten that front leg. Deep inhale. Bringing your neck up just a bit. Exhale all the way down. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Bend that front leg. Now you're going to use the ball of your back foot, bend that knee, and bring it forth. Once you're here, find your balance, 10 toes down in all the ways. Make sure that they're even, knees are aligned. And I'm going to take a moment to really find my breath here because the next position, which is going to be lightning bolt or chair pose, is a bit difficult. Come all the way up. Now here, my arms are right next to my ears. For everybody, it looks different. So this is okay as well. If this is the one you choose, what is your offering, right? What is it that you're bringing to your practice? If you choose a bit more difficult, be sure that your back is aligned. And the question here is, what are you grounded in? Lightning bolts are powerful, powerful forces. They're also quick. So here we practice endurance and breath, breath, breath. Come all the way up. Deep inhale, opening up the lungs. Deep exhale, forward fold. Hang here for a moment. Come back up slowly, each vertebrae. All the way up. Smile at the top because joy is the goal. Deep exhale all the way back down. I'm gonna step this right leg back just like before, and now we'll engage in runner's lunge. Holding it here, push back so that your heel is really using the force. Allow that knee to rest. Straighten your front leg just like before. Great. Be prepared. You're going to re-engage that front leg, bringing the knee up. Flip onto the ball of your feet for that back foot. Nice and strong, standing up. Walk it forward. Allow your head to hang here. Nice and easy. If you have lots of hair, locks, trestles, whatever that might look like, go ahead, shake them out. We hold lots of energy in our hair as well. So you want to be sure to engage everything in your yoga practice. By now, you'll start to feel a bit of fatigue in your legs. This is what we want. This is how we build muscles and get strong. Deep inhale, shoot all the way back up. Deep exhaling down, hands by your sides. Roll your shoulders back. Good. Now you're gonna step back, one at a time. Oftentimes we focus way too much on all of the steps. Just take it one step at a time. Hands come up. You're gonna come out into horizon one more time. You're gonna fold inward, so bringing your right arm in, using your left arm onto your elbow, opening up. Now sometimes people use this and they just squeeze and they're focused on squeezing. No, we want to focus on opening. So when we bring this hand onto our elbow, we're pulling it out, up, and back. Give ourselves a nice good stretch open. And we're going to switch. Deep inhale, exhale into horizon. Opposite. Good. Go ahead and dip your head back. Bring both up. Hands come down, 90-degree angles. Palms are nice and open. Inhale, open up your chest, bringing your shoulders back. Exhale, close it in. Bring your palms to heart center and have a few moments just to breathe to yourself. Here, we're not only setting the intentions, we're fulfilling those intentions. What brought you here? Did you need peace? Peace of mind, just a piece of peace? You're gonna find it in the flow zone. So be sure to breathe. That's how you get there. Deep inhale. Deep exhale, allow that to shake all the way down. If you're at home and you have no reason not to, deep inhale, come all the way up with your shoulders. And on your exhale, we'll release in a snake sound. Each sound that I'll invite offers you a different kind of just healing to your kidneys, to your organs and things. So on this next inhale, nice and deep, we'll exhale like a choo-choo train. Choo. Hold that out for as long as possible. One more deep inhale. And this one's as if to calm a baby. All of those sounds are helping us to detox our liver, our kidneys, our pancreas, and other organs that are really important. Shoot those arms up. Exhale all the way down, halfway lift. Hands are resting on your calves or your thighs, never ever your knees. That joint is way too important to put force going backwards. One more deep inhale. We'll do a warrior sequence one more time. All the way down your arms. Take a step forward, one step at a time. Hips width apart. Measure all the way up. Come all the way back down, making sure that you're aligned. Perfect. Roll those shoulders back. Left foot will take front stage. Right foot will be in the back. Arms come up. This time we're stronger. First time is introduction. The second time is just for greatness. Breathe here. Feel how strong your legs are, your core. Be sure that you're not letting everything go, right? You're holding it, tucking it nice and tight. You're gonna open up those hips. Your back leg will come down. Give it some space if you need. Arms will also come center. Holding the horizon, right? We have the sun in our hands. You look forward, recognizing where you're going. Never forget to look back, remembering what you're bringing forth. Both arms come up, power pose. Just breathe here. Arms come down, back to horizon. Float back. Again, keeping everything in alignment. It should never hurt. If you're in pain or discomfort, feel free to come out of that pose with some soft breath. Deep inhale, reaching up. Also reaching towards the ground. We're always doing both. We're gonna helicopter around. Come all the way down. Bring that back leg forward because we're gonna go right into warrior lightning bolt. Again, you can choose offering, power. You'll get both and both. Sweep down. Come back up, slowly engaging each vertebrae. Roll those shoulders all the way back. We're gonna take a step back. Take another step back. Now we're ready to get onto our mats. Slowly come down, hands and knees. Toes are curled under. And you're just gonna take a slight break into child's pose. Arms are out and elongated. Allow your forearms and your elbows to meet your knees. Forearms come onto the mat. Sphinx pose. Spine is elongated, chin is held high. If you really think about the Sphinx was a symbol of being able to carry a high crowned head on a human body, right? So we're practicing that every day. How do you stay regal even in the moments where you're struggling? Deep inhale, push up slightly. Deep exhale back into Sphinx. From here, we're gonna take hands and knees. Quick down dog, so you're gonna shoot up, engaging both arms, both legs. Pedal, just to stretch out your calves. Walk yourself into high plank. Nice and strong, you're using both arms, both legs, core, glutes, hamstrings, quads, shins, calves, all of the things. Deep inhale, nice and strong. Deep exhale. Keep your elbows tucked right next to you. Your feet will come flat. Push up. Exhale down. Remember, you're keeping your neck elongated. And one last one. Deep inhale. Smile at the top. Deep exhale. Go ahead and take your left arm, place it in front of you. You're gonna rotate, open up. Flip over onto your back. And here you're gonna take a few bends. Bring your right leg into your chest. Both hands come onto your shin. Bring your head up off the mat. Exhale down. Same thing on the left side. Hug it in, exhale. Place both feet flat on the mat. Take it to the right. Take your knees to the left. Come back to center. Bring your both arms up towards the sky just to make sure that your spine is aligned. Bring both arms out. Deep inhale, deep exhale. Bring both legs into your chest. Nice tight hug. Exhale, bringing your chin up to your chest. Release. Allow your hips to be however they are. If your feet fall in, if they fall out, if they stay straight, that's fine too. Place both of your hands onto your hip bones. Giving gratitude for your practice today and a 10-minute reset that you can do at any time. Place both one hand on your belly, one hand on your heart. Feel what it is to breathe. Feel your pulse and your life force. Remember the intentions you set. And go forth, warrior. Deep inhale. Deep exhale, release. Both hands come back onto your mat. And feel free to allow yourself to find your flow, whether that's meditation, rest, cooking, reading. Just find your flow, stay there, and remember that it's always accessible to you through breath. Peace, y'all.
The UPMC Health Plan provides preventative care. We're able to provide appropriate screening tests for our health plan members. We have the health coaches that are able to provide nutritional information, diabetes information, help coach people on lifestyle modifications, and then help them with their diseases. UPMC Health Plan puts us in the best position to succeed. And if I succeed as a doctor, my patients are more likely to succeed as people.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is India Herndon, Engagement and Inclusion Consultant for the UPMC Center for Engagement and Inclusion. It's a pleasure to join you today, and I'm so excited for today's discussion with Dr. Elena James, medical dermatologist, who will be speaking to us today about the importance of skincare. Protecting your skin, especially in the summertime, is incredibly important. And today we're going to learn some tips and tricks from Dr. Elena about how to best protect ourselves from sun damage. So good morning, Dr. James.
Good morning, India.
Thank you so much for being with us. Let's get started with just a few basic questions so that those tuning in can just learn a little bit about you and what it is that you do. So first off, can you please explain for those of us who were maybe unfamiliar, what exactly is a dermatologist?
A dermatologist is a medical professional who helps patients and people to take care of their skin, their hair, and their nails. And it's not just thought of in isolation, the skin, it's thought of in concert with the rest of the body. So our approach is to look at the skin, but in the view of holistic health, what is going on with everything and how we can best address the skin individually as well as holistically.
Excellent. So what made you interested in the field of dermatology?
It's a great question. So I'm going to go back in time, and I'm originally from Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania, so homegrown in this area. And in about the third grade, we had a science experiment that had to do with dissecting a frog and looking at a frog. And it was at that point when I became amazed by the human body and how it functions and the different parts of the human body. And I knew I wanted to be a doctor or a scientist, something that had to do with understanding the human body and sharing this knowledge with patients and people. So as time went by, I went to college, still very interested in biological sciences, what the body does, how it functions, diseases, how to treat them. Then I said, I'm definitely going to medical school. Went to medical school, and in medical school, it's awesome because you're exposed to so many different fields. And as you're exposed to them, you get to understand what doctors do in that particular field. We were introduced to dermatology in our second year of medical school, and we were learning it from the book, but we had patients come in and show us their skin disease and talk about their experience with dealing with their skin. And these were people with really chronic, hard to treat skin diseases. And instantly I was amazed and fascinated by seeing the skin disease in person, right up close to me. I could actually see and then understand what was happening. So a patient had a blistering disorder with active blisters, and I could start to think about, the structure of the skin and what was causing the blisters to form, and everything made sense to me. The other thing that was fascinating is that dermatology is very much a visual field. So you're using your eye as the tool to assess the skin, understand the skin, and I'm very much a visual person. And so it just really kind of came together and made sense to me. And I also wanted to really help patients understand skin disease and talk to them about the treatment of it. So all of those different factors, it was really, really clear to me that I should go into the field of dermatology.
That's really fascinating. And I love to hear that, you're a homegrown person. We love having you in the area and being able to serve our population. So thank you so much for sharing your background with that. So, to be a dermatologist, I'm sure there's a lot of schooling that's needed. What kind was needed to make sure that you had the career that you have?
Yes. So high school, right after high school, college, usually a 4-year college there's emphasis in the sciences. There's certain classes that must be taken in order for students to qualify to enter into medical school. So after 4 years of college, I went to medical school. I specifically did a medical training with a graduate training together, so an MD PhD program. Again, that speaks to my love of, science and understanding research, as well as clinical work and dealing with patients. So after completing my MD PhD, I applied to residency in dermatology. I did 1 year of internship and then 3 years of dermatology, and then started practicing dermatology.
Excellent. Well, it's a lot of school, but I'm sure it's well worth it. And we're so happy to have you with us today. So, we keep hearing on TV and social media that, of course, skincare is incredibly important. But in your opinion, why should we be focused on our skin?
Yes, great question. I think about this a lot because there's skin health and then there's skin beauty. And in social media, sometimes we see those two things being polar opposite. The appearance of the skin versus the function of the skin. And so from my standpoint as a dermatologist, I really want people to take care of their skin and understand the purpose of their skin. And it's not often thought about like that the skin is an organ, like comparable to the heart and the lungs, but the skin is more than just a covering, right? It's a protection. It is how we engage with society. It protects us from, foreign objects, foreign diseases, infections. It helps us get vitamin D for the health of our bones and our immune system. So there's a lot of functions that it provides, sweating, temperature, all of these things. So it's so important to understand what the skin is doing so that we can treat it correctly. And that means the way we wash it, the way we cleanse our skin, moisturizing it, protecting it from toxins or irritants, and even protecting from the sun is really important to understand as well. So really making sure when we're looking into using products or purchasing things that it's going to be beneficial for the function of our skin, not just for the look of our skin.
Now, Dr. Elena, I really love that you made that distinction between beauty and care. And that's so powerful because sometimes we think about, our skin as just something that's shown on the outside. We maybe put some makeup on, maybe moisturize every once in a while, but it goes far deeper than that. So thank you so much for making that distinction for everyone. So, especially with summer, here and the warm weather and the sun shining and everything like that, but I mean, all times of the year, are there specific things that we should be on the lookout for with our skin to make sure that we're taking care of it properly?
Yes. So paying attention to our skin and understanding that our skin is our individual skin and it's different from everyone else's. So being aware of that in, if someone's suggesting something or doing something, just take into consideration your skin and how your skin functions. Some people have dry skin and some people have oily skin. So there's not like a set standard that everybody should be doing the same exact thing. That's important to understand your individual skin. With summer here, there's the sun, and the sun is great. It really is wonderful. It feels good to a lot of people, but too much of one thing can be bad for the skin. And so we have to protect ourselves from sunburns, damages that can happen from sun exposure. And so you hear a lot about sunscreen and sun protection, and that is one really important aspect of taking care of our skin that we need to understand. And so what does that look like? It can look like a lot of different things. So sun protection can mean simply just, wearing a hat to cast a shadow over the face and making sure that all areas of the skin are protected, and that can be from clothing and that can be from the use of sunscreen to make sure that we're not getting these damages from the sun rays. And the damages can be, the development of skin cancer, and it can be wrinkling, it can be dyspigmentation, so hyperpigmentation can come about as a result of the sun, or the sun can trigger reactions to medications, and some people can get rashes. Some people can even be allergic to the sun and start to get very itchy or get hives from the sun. So being aware of all of these things and noting what happens when we're out in the sun and protecting ourselves from the sun is really important.
Absolutely. And I know that just at the end there, you mentioned something about medications. Are there medications or even supplements that people take that can make them more sensitive to the sun or create skin-related issues?
Yes, there are. And we need to counsel patients about their medications and possible side effects that they can experience with medications. Take for instance, antibiotics. There are some groups of antibiotics that we as dermatologists prescribe for acne or for skin infections that can make patients very sensitive to the sun. And so we counsel patients that when they're starting this antibiotic, that they need to be even more cautious about sun exposure and using sunscreen or sun protective clothing. Sometimes even topical creams. One of the most popular creams that we use for acne and as well as for anti-aging is a vitamin A cream. And that can sometimes, when patients are starting to use it, make patients' skin more sensitive to the sun. So again, counseling and explaining possible side effects related to medications is important.
That's really incredibly helpful to know, just to make sure that we're communicating with our doctors, making sure that any of these medications don't cause any, bad effects when we're out in the sun or anything like that, just being extra diligent when we have those conversations. Now, along with medications, people might also think about age. Are there specific age ranges that should be more wary of their skin while in the sun? Or, should everyone in general be, pretty protective of their skin?
Yes, there's definitely different themes that we see in prevalences and incidences in different age groups. Really young children, less than 12 months or so, we're really relying on sun protective clothing and shading of the children to protect their skin as children get older. Yes, clothing, also sunscreen, introducing that. And then as we get older, we have to start to consider skin cancer. and who's at risk, who's more likely at risk. And we don't know. Sometimes it can be a family history, it can be certain medical or genetic conditions that make people more sensitive to developing skin cancers. But anyone can develop a skin cancer, and that's why we do recommend that everyone find different ways to protect themselves from the sun, and consider having a skin exam or having their skin checked if there is a mole or a skin lesion that they're concerned about that can be worrisome for a skin cancer.
Absolutely. So, a lot of us may not have considered previously visiting a dermatologist. Maybe we haven't had any particular reasons to, or maybe now we're just getting a little bit curious. So, in your opinion, are there any particular questions that people should ask if they go to a dermatologist for the very first time?
Definitely. I think when engaging with medical professionals, it's important for patients, people to really know their medical history and be able to express and explain that to a professional. And so having your history, sort of past medical history, the medications you are taking is important. Sun exposure, history of sunburns, having that, all of that information compiled together is great so that you're readily able to share this with your provider. When you're engaging with a medical professional, it's also important to see it as a partnership, a relationship that you are trying to develop with a professional. And so sharing information, being a little bit vulnerable. We also treat sexually transmitted infections. We treat a lot of different things, and there's intimate details that a patient may need to share with a provider, and building trust in that relationship is really important so that the professional can help the patient to take care of themselves. So seeing it as a partnership, really knowing your medical history and being able to share that information is important. And then also really having an in-depth conversation with the provider about what I have, if there's a skin condition, knowing the diagnosis and also knowing ways that you can treat it. Yes, there are medications, but oftentimes there's a lot of other things that can promote good health, including good skin health, and that can be, related to the foods that we eat. Our nutrition is really reflected in our skin. And so nutrition is important. Our exposures, are we around, cigarette smoke? Are we smoking cigarettes that can contribute to our skin health? And so all of those factors are important to have information about. So your diagnosis, the treatment plan, and then what to expect. You want to know when you're leaving your engagement with your medical professional, what can I expect? What possible side effects could I expect? How long will it take for me to see improvement? What should my follow-up appointment be? All of that information should be exchanged during that encounter.
That's incredibly valuable information that you're providing. I mean, a lot of us can kind of be a little intimidated when going to a specialist, even going to our regular doctors, can be a little bit scary trying to think about what I want to say, what questions I might have, but getting the perspective of a doctor is very helpful, and I'm sure that that's very beneficial to a lot of people. Well, with the sun being out and, people protecting themselves or supposedly protecting themselves, I have to ask the big question. Is sunscreen really that important?
That's a great question. And I do think it is important. And I like to see it as sun protection. And then sunscreen is an option for sun protection. So some people maybe can't use sunscreen because they're allergic to it, or their skin is very sensitive. They get a rash or they get itchy from it. But there are other ways to protect yourself from the sun. And again, that's seeking shade, it's wearing a hat, wearing sun protective clothing. Those ways are also available as a form of sun protection. And then speaking specifically to sunscreen, I do think it is important to understand that everyone can benefit from the use of sunscreen. And so when we say the use of sunscreen, sometimes there is this thought that it's only meant for people who have fair or white skin to use sunscreen. But we recommend it for patients of a variety of skin colors, from brown to black, because it's not only the risk of a sunburn, where darker patients may have a lot of melanin that is protecting them naturally from sun damage, but there can be other effects of sun that can appear. And we talked about aging of the skin, we talked about hyperpigmentation, and people of color do develop skin cancer, and unfortunately it is often diagnosed later, with more deaths related to skin cancer in people of color, because it's not thought of. It's just thought that, oh, there's this protection. I don't need sunscreen. I don't need sun protection because I have this natural, protection with my melanin. But it does happen. And oftentimes we can't predict who's at higher risk and who's not. There are some risk factors, but that's not always clear. And that's why we promote sun protection in a variety of forms for all people.
Now, that is fantastic that you mentioned that. I was actually going to ask, because there is this long-standing myth that doesn't seem to want to go away, that people of color don't need to be as reliant on sunscreen or sunblock or other, protective ways to shield their skin from the sun, because we have melanin in our skin. And it's really important to know that it's just as important for people of color to protect their skin from the sun as, for those who may have less melanin in their skin. So it's wonderful that you pointed that out. I was not aware that sometimes some of these dangers are, found later on. So thank you so much for mentioning that, because people may not know. And so please make sure to protect your skin, definitely. So in addition to sunscreen or sunblocked or wearing a hat, are there any other products that you would recommend to make sure that we're taking care of our skin in the best way possible?
Again, I think it's important to know your individual skin type. So patients who have oily skin may not need a moisturizer because their body is just producing so much oil that more lotion or cream will actually clog their pores. And that's why we like to individualize sort of recommendations that we give people, knowing your skin type and making recommendations based on those. I think in general, cleansing our skin as needed. In hot, humid weather, we may cleanse our skin and wash a little bit more frequently than we do in cold the winter time. Especially in our area, we see a lot of dry skin and itchiness when winter time comes about, and that may be because throughout the year we're keeping our skin regimen the same. But we have to notice that there are times when we have to adjust from washing as frequently and not moisturizing our skin. We need more lotion and moisturizer in the winter months and maybe less in the summer months, and then adjusting sort of our skincare regimen based on the weather or our environment is important to understand.
Excellent. Thank you for that. And so is there any other information that you believe people should be aware of to make sure that they keep their skin healthy and protected? You mentioned, the sunscreen or moisturizing, protecting yourself from the sun, shielding yourself from the sun, things like that. Any other tips and tricks that you might suggest for people that they know?
Yes, there's a couple of recommendations that I have and I'd like to share, so thanks for this opportunity. One is just periodically take a really good overall look at your skin. Sometimes we go from, bathing, showering, toweling off, and putting on our clothes, and never really take the time to kind of look at our palms, look at the soles of our feet, have somebody check our back for us. What's even going on? What's even back, happening on our back? If you have somebody available to look at your back, we typically recommend, once a month, doing a really good look from head to toe at the skin and see where my skin is, is the standard of my skin at this point. The other thing I would recommend is also checking hair and nails, making sure that our nails are strong and growing and taking care of them, clipping them, keeping them at a nice length. We see a fair number of patients, related to concerns about hair loss. And so hair is another, sort of an accessory, right? But it's important to our self-expression. And so noticing if there are changes in our hair, if we're seeing a lot of shedding or hair coming out or breakage, that is a sign that there is something going on. It could be something external, products that we're using, heat that's happening, or if there's a lot of shedding, it can actually reflect something internal. So if we're seeing these changes, then that's something that may need to be addressed, starting with our primary care doctor, and maybe that doctor referring you to a dermatologist if needed. Be careful about the information that you use and apply to yourself on maybe social media or friends that are recommending it to you, because what somebody else is doing may not be the right thing for your skin. When you're trying a new product out, sometimes we recommend just testing it in a small area. So do like a test spot behind the ear with a product, make sure it doesn't burn or irritate the skin to see if it's okay for your skin to use. And then lastly, if you're using a product or doing something to your skin and there's burning, there's pain, there's any sort of symptom that you're feeling that is discomfort, that's a warning sign that it's not right for your skin and your skin's telling you, please stop doing this. It's bothering me, and sometimes people can think that, oh, it's really working. I'm getting this burning sensation, or it's really going to help me, and it's actually a sign that it's not the right product for your skin.
These are wonderful, wonderful suggestions. I love the fact that you even mentioned checking the soles of your feet. That's something that I definitely wouldn't have thought of, and I know that many of people who are tuning in may not have thought of either. So definitely making sure that we're giving our skin a once over and not noticing anything that looks different or worrisome. Thank you so much for those suggestions. My last question is for you is, if people would like to make an appointment with you or a dermatologist like you, what's the best way to do so?
Yes, and I'm happy to share that information. I'm at the University of Pittsburgh Medical Center, and we have multiple ways that you can engage with us as patients, and this is very exciting. Unfortunately with COVID, we had to change the way that we do patient care very quickly. We've always at the University of Pittsburgh Medical Center had telehealth, but we had to really expand it. And this is, in the end, great for patients who have a really busy schedule. They're working, or childcare is an issue, or traveling may be an issue to come into the office. We have offerings for in-person visits. We have offerings for video visits. So the way that we are engaging now, we can see patients in the comfort of their home or wherever they are and have appointments that way. And then we have asynchronous visits where patients can upload photos, fill out a form, and send it to a dermatologist for the dermatologist to assess and give recommendations back to them. And that's through our eDermatology website. So different options are available to help you seek out care for your skin conditions. And we hope that will help to give more access to patients who are, have traveling issues. We know that there are oftentimes barriers to care, especially for our medically marginalized communities. And so we're trying to really partner with communities. We also have a program called Mobile Derm, where we partner with community practices like Birmingham Clinic, and we're able to see patients who maybe are uninsured or have, don't have the insurance to see a specialist. So we have those avenues for care also available.
That is fantastic. Thank you so much, especially for mentioning those programs. We want to make sure that, getting assistance is available for all that need it. So thank you so much for mentioning that. Dr. James, once again, thank you so much for your time today. This has been amazing, absolutely fantastic. It was wonderful to learn about you, your work as a dermatologist, and the importance of protecting our skin. And once again, Dr. Elena James is a medical dermatologist for UPMC and can be reached through the Department of Dermatology. Thank you everyone so much for listening in, and I hope that you have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you, India.
412 Food Rescue was founded in 2015 as a direct response to the fact that we waste 40% of our food supply, while post-pandemic, 1 in 5 are food insecure. So if we actually recover all of this food that's going to waste, we would feed everyone in the world 4 times over. I'm Leah Lizarrando, CEO and co-founder, 412 Food Rescue. The best and easiest way to describe what 412 Food Rescue does is we are the DoorDash for those who are in need of food support. And so what we do is we work with food donors such as grocery stores, event centers like the August Wilson Center, schools, universities, and whenever they have excess food, they reach out to us, and then we match it with nonprofits or homes of those who are experiencing food insecurity. And then we mobilize thousands of drivers, just like DoorDash, to drive food, pick it up from the donor, and drop it off to the nonprofit or home. And we do this all through a technology platform called Food Rescue Hero. It's important for 412 Food Rescue to participate in events like Community Day because we are all about community. What we do will not exist without the thousands of Pittsburghers that drive every day and make sure that food does not go to waste and not feed landfills, but feed people who need it. What makes 412 Food Rescue unique is that not only is it driven by technology, it is people-powered technology. The technology is just a tool, but it's really the thousands of people that drive food, that give their time every single day to make sure that food that is available goes to someone in need. It's easy to learn more about 412 Food Rescue. You turn on your phone, you go to the App Store or the Google Play Store and search 412 Food Rescue, and you'll be able to download our app and see rescues that are available every day.
We started Happy Day Dessert Factory whenever I was 16, 17. The idea whenever we were coming on our end agreement with Rita's. We owned everything, so we decided to do our own thing with our own name. We got the idea and the name from my grandma. She's always singing and being so happy, so we always try to recreate her happy vibe down here. So yeah, just a real happy person, always trying to create the happy vibe down here for my grandma, yeah. My name's Galen Moore Jr., and I'm the owner of Happy Day Dessert Factory. Growing up as a child, seeing how the business was ran, so I always wanted to do my own thing as a business owner growing up. So after high school, I went to CCAC for 2 years. Sat behind my dad, worked at another restaurant, see how the restaurant industry was ran, because I like food, I love ice cream too, it's easy to make. Happy Day Dessert Factory started because of, we owned our own equipment over at Doritos and stuff. Our agreement was coming to an end over there, so we decided just to do our own thing, and the rest is pretty much history. So we got the one and only black-owned ice cream shop in the north side of Pittsburgh. We got the handmade, homemade ice cream and stuff here, something that my grandma's really adamant on. She loves doing stuff from scratch. So we try to do everything from scratch here, sort of just to tie it in with her. She's always the inspiration when we're down here, always trying to recreate her happy vibe when we're down here, so yeah. What makes Happy Day Dessert Factory unique is the fact that we are the one and only place in Pennsylvania with almond milk soft serve. Yeah, we got the Cookie Monster here. We got, that's all of our cookies that you see up front. We crush them up, mix them together, add blue food coloring. It's a honey vanilla type base stuff. So people get scared because it's blue, but I always tell them it's just regular vanilla, like cookie dough or something. But yeah, so we make all our stuff here from scratch. Like, not a lot of ice cream places do that. They always ask us where we get our ice cream from. Some people are like, do you get your ice cream from Perry's or Hershey's or somewhere? I say, no, we make all our stuff here, from the waffle cones, the ice cream, the water ice, all that stuff here you see is made by hand. Yeah, so we have everything for everybody here. We have all of the almond milk soft serve, water ice if you're vegan, lactose intolerant. That's what I always tell people here. It's safe for your dog as well if you want to give it to your dog or whatever. Some people love to give it to their dog. They always say, oh, my dog loves his almond milk soft serve. Can I get the little doggy cup of the vanilla? So I'm like, yeah, that's fine. So this is more an ice cream shop because we do more than just serve ice cream. We're always out there in the community doing different things. So we partnered with the Central Outreach to help people get vaccinated. We gave them a coupon. If they go and get vaccinated, you can come in, get a free icy or whatever. We did something with Young Motivated Black Kings and Queens several times. We had a toy and a food drive down here. They're going to bring their summer camp through here in a couple weeks, most likely, so can't wait. So the best part of this is having my own shop. I can do whatever I want when I'm down here, and I can come in when I want. I don't have to listen to no boss or nobody, so I love it. You can follow us on Instagram at Happy Day Dessert Factory. You can find us on Facebook at Happy Day Dessert Factory. And you can find us on our website at happydaydessertfactory.com. Happy Day Dessert Factory has changed the community one scoop at a time.
I've been doing robotics and teaching for about 15 years. We have robotics programs for kids all the way from kindergarten through high school. And we have high school robotics teams that compete both statewide and nationally. My name is Tim Garretts. I am the robotics director at Sarah Hines House. We work on teaching kids to use robotics and to learn about programming. And as they move up through the program, once they get into middle school age, we start introducing them into competitive robotics teams where they meet other kids around the state and around the country and compete at robotics along with other teams. Some of the skills that they learn is technical skills like coding and using tools, building, design, but they also learn soft skills because they have to work as a team. One of our teams is First Robotics Competition team, and it takes 25 kids in order to build a giant robot that's about this big and 120 pounds. So they learn teamwork, and they learn how to delegate, and they get prepared for technical jobs and management jobs in the future. What makes our program unique is staying on the cutting edge of technology. So within a Boys and Girls Club setting, where we have a lot of kids from all over Pittsburgh and from all different backgrounds, they come into our program. We introduce them to technical skills that help them advance in the modern economy. My favorite part of this is exposing kids that have maybe never built anything, they haven't used a tool, to teaching them how to use tools, how to build things, how to bring things from their mind into reality. If anybody wants to learn more about our robotics program or our robotics teams, SHARP, Sarah Hines House Advanced Robotics Program, they can go to our website, sarahhineshouse.org, or stop by for a tour and see our machine shop and our kids building robots. We can't wait to build robots with you.
Okay, so how the Funky Fly project got started was, it was at this program called Hope Academy, which was in East Liberty at the time. How it all came about was me, Winston, and Henry both played together in that program, and we did a couple shows together, and then all of a sudden my mom came up with the idea of doing, of making it a band. So I had a gig down at the Savoy and I needed a band to play with. And so I called up Winston and Henry at the time and we played. And And then people asked if we were, a group and all, but we were like, no, because it was only a one-time thing. So then eventually we just decided, okay, it should be a thing, a band, and that's how basically Funky Fly got started. Funky Fly started back in 2015. It's been 6 years we've been together as a group.
I see Pittsburgh's art scene right now as a lot of heavy jazz influence from the history of Pittsburgh and the amazing jazz scene from the Hill District, and that influencing us in the way we play. And our part of jazz in the art scene is to keep that trend alive and keep the new age of music going with influencing the new generation to learn what jazz is and get them interested in it so we can keep that art form alive.
Funky Fly Project has a broad spectrum of inspiration. It ranges from, I'd say, jazz to some form of rock. I like to listen to King Crimson. Winston likes old jazz musicians. Brandon likes Beyonce. Eric likes, he likes kind of like a hip-hoppy, groovy R&B sort of type of music. So when we come together, there's this interesting blend of our different inspirations that make this, I think, kind of a unique sound, because it's a blend of different things coming together.
I would honestly like to see the Pittsburgh art scene go in an upward direction, of course, in a positive way as far as music and arts and, for example, fashion all combined. And I would like a lot of more Pittsburgh artists to definitely get their names out there onto more serious levels, regionally, nationally, just as much as we want to go for that as well, And I feel that if all of us as artists just kind of stick together and support each other, the masses will notice the creativity that Pittsburgh has to offer that we once offered back in the day, like Winston said, as far as the jazz scene on the Hill and around Pittsburgh in general.
What I could see Funky Fly Project doing in the future is having an impact and a message. Knowing 4 young guys from Pittsburgh, how we started out, and we've made a pretty good run for the 6 years that we've been a group, and I would just like to see that continue in the future.
The UPMC Health Plan provides preventative care. We're able to provide appropriate screening tests for our health plan members. We have the health coaches that are able to provide nutritional information, diabetes information, help coach people on lifestyle modifications, and then help them with their diseases. UPMC Health Plan puts us in the best position to succeed. And if I succeed as a doctor, my patients are more likely to succeed as people.
My artistic, creative process is interesting because I base everything around fun. If I'm not having fun, I'm not going to be creative. Whether it's hanging out with my friends, watching the finals, or even just walking in the park, I need to be doing something. I need a lot of input to create output. And if nothing uplifting or joyous is coming in, I'm not going to be able to create anything. So I just keep myself in a fun space, and that keeps me in a creative space. My name's Q Perry, and I'm a multidisciplinary artist. The first time I picked up a brush was about 4 or 5 years old, and it was just magic. I fell in love. A lot of kids like basketballs or footballs. I wanted paintbrushes and pencils as a kid. The magic that happened when I first picked up a brush, it felt comfortable. It was a feeling that what you thought up here, you can actually bring out, you can create, and I never got that feeling from sports or any other thing growing up, so it was pretty cool. It's hard to explain. The inspiration came from odd places. I would read a lot of comic books, watch a lot of cartoons, just even the colors of a stop sign. Just I would notice different things around the world that, from my opinion, at that age, really didn't spark the entrance of a kid or kids my age. Living in the O-Ringer has been huge for my career, and just me personally, it's a big chunk of peace of mind because I don't have to travel far or look far for creativity because being around a community of artists, we kind of push each other, inspiring each other, and even down to we let each other know what grants are available. So it's pretty inspiring. It's almost like being around just your peers, you know, family almost. Peace of mind is very important, especially in the creative world. As a creative, I'm not sure the statistics, but depression is very high and mental health is very important. So you kind of have to monitor yourself and find out what works for you, but balancing out in general, work life and home life is very, very important. I honestly don't know where I would be without arts. I would be somewhere miserable in a job without art and creativity and just the support that I've gotten from the city and my peers and friends. You can learn more about my work. You can search me on Facebook, Q Perry, and on my art page, CB Perry on Facebook, and on Instagram, CB Perry _. And I'm personable. You can email me, cbperryart@gmail.com. I'll talk to you. Art matters. Art matters. Art matters. Art matters.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Pittsburgh International Jazz Festival.
Hello, I am Gina Range, Vice President of Institutional Advancement with the August Wilson African American Cultural Center. We hope you enjoyed the summer edition of our AWC Community Day program, made possible by generous support from sponsors UPMC and UPMC Health Plan, and loyal viewers like you. To learn more about upcoming programs and events, or to donate to the center, please visit our website at aacc-awc.org. Thank you for joining us today, and once more, thank you to our sponsors, UPMC and UPMC Health Plan. Until we meet again, have a happy summer.